All right. So last time what we were doing was we reached till here and remotely connect to each hypervisor and explore. So if we go back to the diagram here, we are able to connect um, to the right side from our the Windows machine to our hypervisor 1, 2, and 3. Last time we were able to do that. And okay, and there's a sound setting here. Setting background character review. Using computer audio, yeah, working fine. Excuse me, microphone is okay, but this one is. So I had to change it back to this. Well, hopefully now I'll be able to hear your sound. Okay. Now, yeah, I'll be opening that most advanced drawing of all times, MS Paint, drawing tools of all times. Oops. Okay, all this. Yeah, so the diagram here, excuse me, I'm gonna just use quickly and we're gonna go ahead. So this is okay. I'll just grab the diagram from there. So we have three hypervisors which are connected by name. We were able to connect through the web browser. Okay. Oh, Siri says, happy long weekend, sir, and everyone else. And today we have full class or half. So what has been happening in this week for other courses, guys? Siri, it depends on full 100% votes of having a class or having half class or having full class. If any one student says we're gonna have full class, we will have full class. If all students together says no, just half class or no class today, so only then I agree. So 100% vote has to be on one side. So yeah, depends on the students if you want to have half class or full class. So you can just ask students there or your classmates. Okay. So I'm going to continue here. And Xavier says, I follow the majority, no matter for me. Okay, there's one vote for Siri here. Uh, can we vote for half class, guys? Oh, Siri is still doing that campaign. Okay. So guys, you could just chat between yourself. Yeah, here as well, if you want. I'm just going to continue this. And if full all the class unanimously says half class, then only we will have half class. Otherwise, if anyone says no full class, then I follow the one vote. Everyone has to be unanimous, right? Okay, so as I was saying here, okay, here, so we are supposed to be connecting successfully from the Google browser, a Chrome browser from here and to this hypervisor and to this hypervisor. And we had created all the A records for the three hypervisors as well. Okay. So Siri has two supporters, Xavier and Anoop. Uh, wow, Siri, nice campaign going on. Okay, so here I'm connecting to the environment. So this is our lab, and I'll go for, oh, that was last page, okay. And oh, okay, so 26 May batch. So I'll just put all the others there as well. The machines could be together. Yeah, I'm starting this 2 GB machine, the Windows machine, and um, oh, So Siri got Susan and Gurkbal on his side as well. Oh man, you should be running for Toronto Mayor. Okay. So here I'm gonna resume the second one and the third one and the fourth one. Nicholas, Gurkbal, Susan, Anoop, Xavier. Hey, how many we have? Only Chinwando left. Xavier, Susan, Siri, Pradeep, and Chinwando left. And Gurkbal. Oh, okay. Everyone's going with Siri, except for two guys. Anyway, so keep it up and good luck with the campaign. So I'm just gonna go ahead and Win01. I'm just gonna log in from there, and then I'll explain where we are, what we're doing, and go ahead. Hmm. Okay, Gurukul is in again. So here inside Windows, I'm able to connect to ESXi 1 and then ESXi 2 and ESXi 3. So if I go to ESXi 1, we know the username password for that, and that is root. Uh, oh, so guys, are you able to hear me? Are you able to listen to me? Gurgwal says I was able to hear before. Anyone else able to hear me? Yes, no, maybe. Just say yes on the chat or
Yes, sir.
oh, I can hear guys as well. So there's a yes. Okay, so this means that Gurkbal, sorry, not able to hear before. Oh, okay. Now yes. Okay, sorry. I didn't understand that. All right, got it now. Thank you. Small ABC, capital ABC, shift 123 without shift 123. And I'll log into the first hypervisor. Uh, what? Okay, maybe I did not put small ABC, capital ABC, shift 123 without shift 123. Uno, dos, tres. Seriously? Please refresh your browser. Okay, the message is not saying it's a wrong password. It's just saying refresh your browser. Okay, refreshing the browser. It says your connection is not private. I'll click advanced here and proceed to the site again. All right. Okay, so root, small ABC, capital ABC, shift 123, without shift 123. So we were able to log in from the Windows machine. So if I go back to the diagram here, I'm able to connect now to this machine from here. I just did connect. I'll be going for the other machines just to check that our connections by name connectivity is okay or not, right? So by name connectivity from this machine to this hypervisor is okay. From this to this and from this to this, I'll just double check again. Last time we were able to go ahead and I'll refresh that first. If it asks me again for, oh yeah, it would have asked. So it's better to refresh the browsers. And the third one as well, I'll just refresh the browser for E6i3. And yeah, advanced and proceed. So here, root and so let me see, let's see, 123. Okay, so yeah, I don't know why I'm doing the commentary of Siri's campaign for half day today. So, but Siri still misses 2 votes here for the bench in Mando. Okay, so all others are with him. Okay, anyway, I'll just go for, yeah, so we're logged in here and we're logged in the third one, right? Now, what are we supposed to do after that? Obviously, we were able to log in, but we need to understand how a hypervisor works. So this hypervisor or this hypervisor or this hypervisor, right? We have 3 here, but suppose in a medium to large size companies, there are suppose 80,000 users, and you can have uh, so if you have suppose 80,000 users and you have 200 hypervisors, so we have just one, two, three hypervisors, right? So if you have 2,000 hypervisors, 1,000 hypervisors, 500 hypervisors. So we need to understand how hypervisor really works. What are the main components of hypervisor? Last time we were able to discuss a few sections of the hypervisor. If I go back to this, so we were able to discuss manage hardware, system hardware, licensing, packages, services, security, and users, right? And in monitor performance, hardware, events, tasks, logs, notifications. So we were able to discuss, but we didn't discuss the virtual machines, the storage, and the networking. So what we're going to do is we're going to go for virtual machines here, then storage, and then networking, and check out the components. But not only this, we will be going for, let's explore hypervisor, actually hypervirus. Seriously, did I say hypervirus? Remotely connect to each hypervisor and explore. Okay, so we were already there. So we don't need this slide. That was done. Explore hypervisors, but not this. This was still configure hypervisors, not explore. Please download this hypervisor. You already did that, so you don't need that. Right. Lab. Okay. So we have done pretty much all of these tasks, and deploy the 3 VMs. Yep, done. So now what we're gonna do is uh, let's explore the virtual machine, storage, and networking, um, sections of a hypervisor. One of my friend, he's in a company, and that company is small, so they don't actually have vCenter. They can't afford to have vCenter. He's being paid well, but they don't want to go for vCenter. Some small companies do that. So he has to work only on hypervisors. He remotely connect to hypervisors each, and then work on it. So we will be exploring the hypervisors first, and then we're going to go for the vCenter. That's the main application that this course revolves around, and the exam questions, exam objectives all talk about, well, they will talk about hypervisors, and but the main features are in vCenter that we will be deploying later. So let's explore the virtual machine, storage, the networking sections of a hypervisor. So not only this, we will also be going for, let's create a virtual machine inside ESXi02 or 3 or 1, whichever. I'm just choosing randomly 2, for no particular reason. So let's create a virtual machine inside ESXi2 to learn the process of well, creating a virtual machine with an OS. I mean, it's gonna get tricky now, and obviously I'll be explaining to you how tricky it is and why are we saying tricky. But we're going to be installing a virtual machine with an operating system inside, right? um and so we're gonna, and why are we creating that? Because we need to learn the process of creating a virtual machine with an operating system, and how you have to arrange an uh ISO file of an operating system inside the whole environment. What am I talking about? So if we go here, we will be creating a virtual machine in E6i2. Now this virtual machine lives inside E6i2. Oh, what about the 4 virtual machines we have? Yes, they are living inside VMware Workstation, right? So we are actually working on a software called VMware Workstation. So that is called um, virtualization inside virtualization, right? So our virtual environment is inside a VMware workstation, and inside these virtual machines is also another virtualization environment, which you will find in the production environment as well. So we'll be creating a virtual machine here inside the hypervisors in production environments. In jobs, you will be creating virtual machines inside hypervisors. These hypervisors in production environments will be on physical servers directly installed. Here, they're installed in the virtual environment because we can't purchase uh, 4 physical servers separate for each student. So that's why VMware created this in VMware Workstation virtual environment, so we can practice everything here inside. Okay, so we're going to be creating a virtual machine inside this hypervisor. We could have created here or here as well. Just randomly selecting ESXi2 for no particular reason, as I said before. And this virtual machine, excuse me, this virtual machine will be created on top of what? Of course, some kind of storage, some kind of hard disk, right? So we know that, yes, there's one disk, 200 GB size on each hypervisor. Yes, there's a one 200 GB disk. And in production environments, it's supposed to be physical disk, PHY disk, right? um, excuse me. Something stuck in the, maybe frog stuck in my throat. Cribbit. Okay. Here, physical disks. So these are supposed to be physical disks in a production environment. On a physical server, you directly install a hypervisor. But in here, we're pretending that it's a physical disk. And which disks are we pretending to be physical? If I go to hypervisor here, hypervisor 1, right click here and go to settings. So this hard disk here, which is actually living somewhere inside our laptop, this is a virtual disk of this whole virtual machine. And same for the other one, the virtual disk for this is this. So this is supposed to be the physical disk in a production environment. Here it's a virtual disk, 200 GB, right? So that's the disk I'm talking about, inside which we will be creating a virtual machine. So this, or on top of which we're going to be creating virtual machine. So if I go ahead and, so this virtual machine has to have some kind of virtual disk, right? So that virtual disk has to reside somewhere, some storage, some kind of storage, right? So the only physical disk that has a hypervisor as well, that's where we're going to install this virtual machine, and its virtual disk will be living here on this disk as well, right? Um, Also, this physical disk has to be formatted with, as we may have talked about before, has to be formatted with VMFS, VMware file system, VMFS, VMware file system, FS, right? So VMFS, it's formatted, each physical disk is formatted with VMFS file system. When you install a hypervisor, that's the case. So yes, it is. And there has to be some kind of partition where you can put VMware virtual disk files, right? So that partition is called, excuse me, that partition is called data store. So you have to put those virtual machine files somewhere on the disk, and that disk has to be detectable by a virtual machine. So the rule of thumb is that if you have formatted this disk, physical disk, with VMFS file system, and there's a data store on top of it, if these two conditions are met, then virtual machine sees a virtual disk. Suppose you have another disk, right? So you did not format it with VMFS file system. You did not make a partition or data store on top of this disk. So the virtual machine cannot detect that disk. So virtual machine can see this disk because it has been formatted with VMFS file system, VMware file system or VMFS, and it has a partition or data store here. So it can see this, but it cannot see this disk because it's not been formatted with VMware file system. So you have to just make sure, or it's a rule of thumb that you need to remember that if a storage is formatted with VMware file system and it has a partition called data store, only then virtual machine sees that storage. If there were 20 disks here and they were not formatted with this and no data storage there, virtual machine will see just one disk here. It won't see the 19 other disks. Suppose there were 20 and only one is being formatted with VMFS. So that's pretty straightforward now. That virtual machine will file and disk will be created on top of a disk that has data store available here. So, and where does that data store come, or who formats that disk with VMFS? So when we were installing Hypervisor, automatically, yes, we had to tell there's a disk for which has 200 GB space, but then when you were installing Hypervisor, it was formatting the disk with VMFS file system, and it was making a partition called data store on top of it. So when the Hypervisor was fully installed, this disk was ready. It had a data store. So that's why now when we start creating a virtual machine, it will see the disk because it has been formatted with VMFS and it has a data store, right? So one thing is the storage side, we are supposed to see a disk with a data store. So we could create a virtual machine on top of that. That's what we need to understand. Second thing to understand is when we were installing Hypervisor, it also created automatically for network purpose uh, a standard switch, virtual standard switch, and this virtual standard switch was automatically created when you were installing Hypervisor. And this virtual standard switch has been given a name by VMware as vSwitch 0. So every hypervisor has a default vSwitch 0. Now, what does it connect? So what is the purpose of that? Obviously, to give virtual machine the networking features to connect to each other and to the outside world, to the internet, right? So when automatically a vSwitch 0 or virtual standard switch gets installed, it gets connected also automatically, which means that I need to create that samosa-like shape called network card. So this, so obviously all machines have network cards, right? That goes without saying. So they all have network cards, right? So this phi NIC or physical NIC, obviously because in a production environment, it will be physical NIC and it will be either 4 in a production environment or 6 or 8, whatever, when you were or your boss was ordering hypervisors for your company at that time, you need to decide how many physical network cards you need in the physical server for the hypervisor, right? So suppose we have one physical NIC. It's not suppose, we actually in our environment have just one physical NIC. Where is it? If I go to any hypervisor here, they all have the same settings. So this is the network adapter. We just have one network adapter. Later, we will be actually adding 9 more to E6i2 and 9 more to E6i3, 9 more network cards. So we could deploy advanced features with vendor best practices. So I'll explain at that time. But right now we have one network card. So when you were installing Hypervisor, a virtual standard switch got created automatically. And what was it doing? It got automatically connected to the physical NIC. So the physical NIC was connected to virtual switch. Obviously, when we are creating a virtual machine, so virtual machine has a virtual disk and it also has what? A virtual network card of its own. So obviously it will have a virtual network card. That virtual network card will let this machine connect to network. So this machine wants to transfer data here and this machine wants to transfer data here, suppose. So they have to travel, their data has to travel through their virtual network card to the virtual switch to the physical NIC and then to outside a physical switch. and then to the physical NIC, then to the virtual switch, and then through the virtual network card of this machine to the application, right? So that's how the whole path becomes clearer. So what happens when you have virtual machines created? The virtual machine has to connect to some kind of networking as well, unless you don't want it manually, so you can change it. Otherwise, automatically the virtual machine, virtual network card connects to uh, virtual machine, virtual network card connects to the virtual switch. Whenever you create a virtual machine, it just simply automatically detects where's the vSwitch 0. Oh, there it is. Okay, hello vSwitch 0. I am the virtual network card of this new virtual machine. So vSwitch 0 says, welcome to E6i3 network. So that's how it's. So remember two things here. We talked about storage, that a virtual machine can, oh, was I writing that? Oops, whoa, what is this? Ah, it's that Paul talk. I hate that. Seriously? I put, hmm. Okay. So, for as a disclaimer, I have no idea what this picture is for. Uh, that Paul talk just puts the ads. See, I'm an angel. Imagine a round thing on my head. Doing. Okay. Anyway, so here, now we're gonna go for, yeah. We were talking about storage here, right? And storage here is, um, you just have to remember the rule of thumb that a VM can detect a physical disk if it is formatted with VMFS and has a partition called data store and has a data store created. So only then it will detect, virtual machine will see a storage. It won't be able to see it even if it was not formatted with VMFS. That's the one thing. Second thing you need to remember is in the network then that when we install a hypervisor, a virtual standard switch gets created automatically, right? Automatically, right? So automatically. Now, when we install a hypervisor, a virtual standard switch gets created automatically, and that's it. So these two things we need to understand, but we're going a bit ahead of this. We're going to be installing a virtual machine, and we're going to be putting an operating system inside that virtual machine, uh, and which is inside our virtual environment called Vmware Workstation. So again, virtualization inside virtualization, right? Now, these two things, if we remember properly, then and okay, third thing is, well, that's not rule of thumb, that's a lab. Anyway, I'll just put that diagram here in the, oh, okay, I'll put it in the next one. That's just the rule of thumb that's in storage and network. So you need to remember that this happens automatically and it has to be there. The storage has to be there and the networking has to be there for the virtual machine to properly work, right? Okay, so that's one thing. Second thing is, what is our objective that I already mentioned? The objective is to install an operating system inside this virtual machine to know the whole process of how a virtual machine with an operating system is deployed inside a hypervisor. And as I said, it's tricky, a little tricky and time consuming. Okay, so if we get down to the second let's explore the virtual machine storage networking sections of hypervisors. Okay, so I'm just going to go inside here, and we were connecting from the Windows machine to the 3 hypervisors. It locked me out, so I'll go ahead. All right, so now we decided that we're going to be deploying a virtual machine inside the E6i2, this one, right? So our plan is not only to create a virtual machine, but to install a hypervisor of to install an operating system inside. Now, let me, I don't think, okay, I think I'll be able to explain here as well. So what we need to do is we need to get an ISO of Windows. I think we all have Windows 2019, right? Because we installed it in the first machine. So that ISO we have, suppose if you have Windows 10, that can also work, but Windows 19 is good. So what we need to do is if we need to create a virtual machine in ESXi2, if we need to do that, then we have to put some kind of ISO file here inside the data store. Why? Suppose we put the ISO file of Windows 2019 here, Windows 2019.iso, right? So this virtual machine cannot see or reach or detect that file here. So the virtual machine will see any file that is placed in the data store or the partition on this hypervisor. It's going to see that here, right? So our objective, the first one is that we copy from our laptop ISO Windows Server 2019 into the Windows machine first. And then because we are remotely connected from the Windows machine to the E6i2, so from here, we're going to upload the ISO of Windows Server 2019 to the data store of E6i2. Once the Windows Server 2019 ISO file is copied, uploaded here, then when we start creating a virtual machine and it comes to, hey, you want to install an operating system, we say yes, then it's going to say, okay, where's the ISO file for the operating system? So then we can point it to the data store and we can tell the the virtual machine, we can tell that there's a Windows ISO file here in the data store. It will be able to see from here in the data store on this hypervisor, yes, but it cannot see the ISO if it is in a Windows environment or outside of this. It cannot reach that, cannot see that, but it can see it from the data store. So the first major point is to get the ISO to this data store, because we're about to create a virtual machine here that needs to access that ISO file of Windows 2019, right? So once the ISO file is there, we will start creating a virtual machine here. When it asks for ISO, we're going to say, hey, it's in the data store, and we select okay, and then we restart the machine, and we expect that the Windows will start installing inside the virtual machine, which is living inside Hypervisor 2, which is living inside our VMware workstation, right? So that's how the story goes. So now the objective number 1. I'll just quickly go for the, okay, in case everyone knows, it's the class password, so I'll keep that slide always there in case you forget. And remotely, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, we did that. So objective 1, so get the ISO of Windows Server 2019 to ESXi02's data store, right? Data store is just that disk that is available where the hypervisors are also installed. Just that disk is also called in VMware terms as data store, or the partition on top of that. Okay, so that's the first objective. For that, yes, on Win01, your name Win01, let's copy the Windows Server, whatever you have. Suppose you have 2022, suppose you have 2019, suppose you have whichever, right? So Windows Server 2019 ISO on uh, inside uh, inside the downloads folder. So we're going to copy from our laptop. So from our laptop, okay, I have to change the sentence now. Let's copy Windows Server from our laptop. Let's copy the Windows Server 2019 ISO inside the downloads folder in on your first name Win01 virtual machine. Right? So the first objective is this. So first, let's just copy here. The next stage would be from your first name, Win01. Let's upload the ISO to the data store. Obviously, I'm going to show you all step by step. Let's upload the ISO to the data store of your first name, ESXi02. Once ISO is uploaded, then we can, connect it or connect it to the virtual DVD of the new virtual machine that we will be creating inside the hypervisor, your first name, ESXi02. Okay, so that's the plan. Hopefully you understand that. And the first, let's do the first thing from our laptop. Okay, I'll just write here, laptop. From laptop, let's just copy the ISO to Windows. That's the first stage. So let's do that first. And I'm going to go back here. So this is my remote desktop that is not so remote. It's just beside me. So I'm going to minimize this VMware workstation, right? This VMware workstation, I'm going to minimize this. Why? Now I'm inside my laptop, right? So I need that ISO of Windows Server 2019 that I downloaded here in my laptop, right? Where is it? I'm going to go to the yellow folder of my laptop and I'm going to check, although I see here, but I'm just going to go to downloads and maybe it's there in the ISO or wherever you downloaded it, right? So there you go. Mine is in downloads folder in the ISO folder that I created, right? Okay, Chinvando says, I'm with you guys. So series campaign is going real fast, and now only one guy remaining here, and that is Pradeep. So the whole full class depends on Pradeep or half class. So you should be, sending Pradeep some pizzas or something, convince him. Pradeep, you can exploit the situation. You're free to do that. Ha, just kidding. Okay. Anyway, so no, Pradeep, before saying yes, just ask them, hey, this is my address and this is my favorite restaurant. Everyone collect money and send you something. Okay, just kidding. So yeah, I'm gonna copy this and there you go. Hey, three. Maybe you're so rich, man. Did you invest or how are you so convincing? Okay, so here, copy. I'm just gonna copy this and I'm gonna paste it here. That was so simple, right? Downloads, paste. It's just time consuming and a bit tricky later. So we're installing the operating system. Hey, you're saying half, so full class is supporting half class, right, today? So all students in the class are supporting half class today, which means 8 o'clock. Oh, okay. We got like 1 hour, 15 minutes. Okay. Well, if unanimously it is agreed and no one student is saying full class, so yes, then it's a half class today. You just have to be unanimous. I guess, yeah, everyone's mentioned here. So, okay, it's half class then. Okay, Siri is jumping. I'm imagining that. Yay! Okay, so now, well, the operating system is copied here, and now I'm gonna upload it to the Hyper. So the operating system from the laptop, I copy pasted into the Windows environment. Now I'm gonna upload it to the data store of ESXi2. How do we do that? Because we are connected. Oh, I'm in ESXi3, seriously. So I need to remotely connect from Windows to ESXi2. So this is ESXi2 here.
Sorry.
Yep. Yep.
Sorry, we copied the image to which machine?
To the Windows machine. So if I just minimize this,
Mhm.
right now I'm in the Windows machine.
Okay,
So
thank you.
welcome. So it's in the downloads folder of Windows machine. And once it is pasted here, then we need to arrange the upload of this ISO from the Windows machine to the data store of ESXi2, right? Okay, so how do we upload that? So first of all, in the Google Chrome, we have to remotely connect from this Windows machine to this hypervisor, right? So I'm going to go to the Chrome, and just like in last class, I'm going to be connecting remotely to ESXi2 from this Windows machine. So the username is root, and the password is one is equal to session 123, 123, enter. All right. Okay. Once I'm remotely connected from Windows machine to this ESXi2 hypervisor, yes, we are inside the ESXi2 hypervisor remotely now, right? So we can see that there's a virtual machine section here, and that virtual machine section has no virtual machine created yet. Yes, we are about to do that. Second thing is the section called storage. And inside storage, you see what? Oh, we see a data store, and it's called data store 1. So as I explained the diagram, that the data store, this data store has to be created already, which means the disk is properly formatted with VMware file system, because there's a data store here. And by default, the name of the data store is just like the name of the virtual switch is vSwitch 0 by VMware. So data store name is data store 1, right? So it's data store 1, right? Oh, hey, oh, that's not good. Hey, what kind of data store is this? I mean, I installed on Windows, right? So Windows, anyone knows what's the file system of Windows? Easy one, right? File system for VMware is VMFS. What is the FS for Windows? Anyone knows that? I think we have here a lot of Windows experts. What is the file system for Windows machines? FAT32? It used to be yes. Before network file system, what is it? NTFS. There you go. Exactly. You know, I was offended by that FAT32. I am trying to lose weight nowadays. So when you're saying, oh, just yeah, Chinmadu. You raised hand. Yes, it's NTFS. It is NTFS. Yep.
Sorry, I'm trying to see where you tested the software on the machine.
You don't find the ISO in your laptop?
Oh, I got it. Just want to know where you tested it.
Yeah, where to paste it? It's in the Windows virtual machine in the downloads folder or anywhere inside Windows virtual machine. Inside virtual machine. So right click here, go inside the virtual machine, open this yellow folder, go to downloads and just paste it there. All right, so it's NTFS that, so this Windows operating system disk is formatted with NTFS file system, and the VMware hypervisors are formatted with VMFS or VMware file system, right? Okay, so yeah, so the diagram was wrong. The diagram was wrong here. It's not VMFS, seriously. It's NTFS. This is not VMware, it's Windows, right? VMFS is only with the VMware products, the hypervisors. All right. So since I put it there, so I'll go for NTFS. This is the Windows file system. Okay. Now we were talking about the objectives here, and the first objective is met, which is from our laptop. Let's copy Windows Server 2019 to the downloads folder, and it is there. Toggle keys, no. Okay, so it's inside. Now we need to upload this. So first I copy pasted the Windows 2019 ISO to the Windows virtual machine. From here, I need to upload it to the hypervisor E6i2. How do we do that? I'm going to go to the Chrome, and there I had clicked storage, right? And inside the storage, you already see a data store. I mean, we can create more data store if we have more extra disks. Later, we're going to do that too. But there's one data store, and by default, it has that partition of, or that space of 71 GB. And that is created because now our disk is actually 200 GB, right? But it has given by default 71 GB. You want to create more, you can just create a new data store with the rest of the you want to use the rest of the disk space. So 71 minus or 70 minus 200. So you got 130 GB more free space available, but you want to use that, you can create a new data store for that too. Right now we have 71 GB available by default. That is by default. And this is the data store. Remember that I said that virtual machines gets created on top of data stores, but we need to put the ISO file inside the data store as well, because data store also proves to be a file system. You could just put any kind of file here if you want virtual machines to access them later. Maybe you want to put Windows 10 ISO here as well. So the data store can also be just a storage for any kind of ISOs that virtual machines can use later. So in order to upload the file inside data store, you need to go to data store browser, this one, right? We're going to go inside the data store browser. Like we're going to browse this data store. We're going to go inside this data store, which is the virtual disk, right? We're going to go inside that, and we're going to create a new folder called software, right? We're going to create a new folder inside the data store called software. And inside that folder, we're going to upload this ISO. So that's the plan, right? I'm going to click that data store browser, the yellow folder here. Let's click that. Once we click that, so this screen comes up and it says here, or offers here, create directory. Later, when we install a virtual machine and we come back here, you will see that the virtual machine files will be inside another folder, which will be the name of the virtual machine as well. Virtual machine named folder will be created here automatically when we create a virtual machine in this section, right? Later. Right now, we need to create a directory called software. So I'm just going to click the yellow folder called create directory. I'm going to click that, or I'm going to type here software, right? So I'm going to type this software here by clicking this create directory. And I came from data store browser here, which is inside the storage. And I'm going to click create directory, right? And once that software folder is created, just click on top of that. I click on top of that, right? Click, that's it. Nothing happens because it's empty, but click it. Why? Because we need to select this button. We need to click this button called upload. And this button will help us upload the ISO to this software folder, which is living inside the data store 1, which is inside the section storage, which is inside hypervisor E6i2, right? So let's click the upload. Upload takes us to the folder structure of this Windows virtual machine. I remember that I put my ISO in the downloads folder of this virtual machine, right? So I'm going to click downloads folder, and there it is, right? So that's it. You select it, open or double click it, and then it starts uploading, and that takes time. So I'm going to select this and click open, and you can see that it's on 0% now. It's uploading 1%, and it's going to go like that, 2%. So what we are doing here is we are just uploading this ISO from Windows machine to the data store of ESXi2. That's what we're doing now. Because we're remotely connecting from this Windows machine to the hypervisor. So this hypervisor's data store is also accessible from that remote connection.
Excuse me, sir.
Yep.
Hello.
Yes. Yes, sir.
Sir, first after downloading it, copying the Windows file to the main VM server, we
Mhm.
we we copied that to the downloads folder,
Yep.
and then we
Yes.
logged into EXI2
Yes.
instead of EXI1, like directly to EXI2, right?
Yes. I logged into ESXi2 to create a virtual machine here. So you can log into ESXi2 and then go to the storage section
Okay.
and then to the data store browser.
Okay. Oh, thank you.
Well, it's on 18% now. If anyone is more than 18%, that will be -10 for you, the temperature, not the marks. So the rule of the class is nobody goes ahead of the teacher, right? The prof. If you're already finished, 32, hey, see, that's not good. I'm on 23, you're in 32. So it's going to be -10 for you, go well, -10 temperature. Okay. So try to slow down your machine by just starting lots of YouTube videos and start playing a game. So it will be so slow that it will be less than my percentage, right? What am I talking about? Seriously. %40. That's gonna take time. I think Grigwald's machine is faster. I think it's on 80%. Oh, man. Seriously, I thought it was a 11th gen machine. It's this desktop mini PC. Okay, Greg says in the message, I'm asking to summits, but we are present last week, so I can upload those today. Oh, okay. Oh, you were present or absent? Let me think about it now. You confuse me now, right? So first you say present, then you say absent. So which one is it? I'm just kidding. Okay. Yes, you can upload today. Sure, no problem. 60%. You're welcome. Come on. Anyone done? 61. Seriously. Oh yeah, while 78. Susan is on 78. Okay. Again, that's -10 uh temperature. All right. So yeah, the batch in the winter, that's where it would make sense. -10, -20. Yeah. Okay. 75, Nicholas. Hey, everyone's ahead of me. What's wrong with my PC? Seriously, and what's right with you guys? Okay. So that's good. I'm supposed to have the most powerful machine, right? All my money gone down the drain. So while this is going on, we need to check the next steps as well. So next steps are a bit more trickier, and those are Greg Ball is done. Seriously, wow. Hey man, what kind of machine you have? So maybe it's 15th generation, which hasn't been built yet, or from Mars directly. Maybe you have an alien friend. I'm watching too much Netflix here, so yeah, hence the theories. Okay, that's good. So once the ISO is uploaded, uh, I'm supposed to be writing it here, I guess, not here. Create a VM with OS. Once the ISO is uploaded, let's create a VM. All right, before that, so we need to temporarily shut down ESXi01 and ESXi02. That's one thing. Second thing is, well, why? To free up more RAM for the installation of this VM. Okay, that's one thing. Second thing is we need to change the RAM of ESXi02 because we're about to install a virtual machine inside this. So we need to change the RAM of ESXi2 to what, 12 GB or 14, 15, 16. So yeah, 12 GB. 12 GB. The more the better, right? So, we need to change the RAM of ESXi2 to 12 GB so we could give the new virtual machine 8 GB RAM to get the Windows installed quickly, right? New virtual machine 8 GB RAM so the Windows gets installed quicker. In order to increase the RAM of ESXi02, we need to shut it down as well. Change the RAM to 12 GB and then power it on, right? So what we are doing in English, what I'm talking about is that we need to shut down this guy for the duration of the Windows installation and shut down this guy. But temporarily shut down this guy and change its RAM to 12 GB, and the virtual machine inside will have 8 GB RAM, right? And just to increase the RAM of this virtual machine so it could get the operating system installed in it faster, we're doing the whole thing here. So let's shut down ESXi1 temporarily, but we will not shut down Win01 it is kind of oxygen for us. It has infrastructure services of Active Directory, DHCP, DNS, right? So we cannot shut down Win01. Win01 always stays up. So temporarily shut down E6i1, E6i3, and keep E6i. We're gonna shut down E6i2, change the RAM, and power it on, right? So that's the plan. Let's do it. All right, so well, make sure this is done, then you do it, because we already started this process. We could have done that before starting this, but it's okay. I'm done. So if you are done and this percentage here is not showing anymore, which means you're done, and the size I'm seeing here is 4.93, which is okay. So even if you see a bit different size, it's okay. But it should be slightly different, not a lot different. Okay, so if that is done, now I can shut down this one. So first of all, I'm gonna shut down E6i1. So how do I shut down E6i1? Right click here, power, and shut down guest. And shut down. So E6i1 is shutting down. E6i3, I'm gonna go, right click, power, shut down guest. We can shut down from here by pressing F12 and then shut down. So shut down guest. So E6i1 is down, E6i3 is down temporarily, both temporarily. But E6i2, now we do need to change its RAM from 4 GB to 12 GB. So I'm going to temporarily shut it down as well. Change the RAM and power this one on only, while E6i1 and 3 will stay shut down until the Windows is installed in this machine. So I'm just going to right click here and shut down E6i2. All right, so E6i2 is shut down. I'm gonna edit the virtual machine, change the RAM as we decided to 12, right? 12416. Yeah, you can just type there 12416. There it says in the chat, try to enable IOMMU in CPU settings of your VM to allow it access directly to chipset hardware. For me, the ISO transfer has been as fast as on local HDD. Okay, Xavier, thank you for this tip. So everyone, you can see the tip here, IOMMU in CPU setting. Okay, if I go to processors and there's that IOMMU, yes, your IO memory management unit. Okay, that's good. Thank you for this tip. Sahu says my system is hanged. I will force restart it and join again. Okay, no problemo. So yeah, guys, you can also just put that IOMMU, and then you should be getting a better performance. But since we shut down those machines, we can just change that too. I've changed it to 12 GB here for only E6i2, 12 GB, and I'm gonna power on. If you have 32 GB total RAM, then you can make it 16 GB if you want. But even 24 GB, up to you. Those who have 32 GB RAM only. Okay, I'm pretending I have 16 GB, so I'll put it to 12 GB. All right, so I got 12 GB here, and yeah, it started fast as well. So I'm just gonna go for the other machines which are shut down. And if you're seeing that, so edit virtual machine and go for CPU, and just turn that virtual IOMMU, and also go to this machine and in processors and turn on this. IOMMU. Okay. So whenever they are starting, then they will, also show the performance. Okay, so this one is started here, and 12 GB RAM. We're just going to remotely connect from here to the 6i2 again to create the virtual machine, attach the ISO to the virtual machine, and then restart. So the Windows could start installation. So I'm just going to go to this virtual machine here where ISO is already installed. So I need to go to the virtual machine section now, right? Because we need to start installing the virtual machine. So I'm in the virtual machine section. I've clicked it, and one day, Monday or Sunday, it's going to come here, up here. All right. Refresh. Is there a local refresh? Okay. Browser refresh. I'll just. Oh, kick me out. Oh, yeah, because I restarted it. So that's why I had to log back in here as well. Okay, so virtual machine section is there, and there's that create virtual machine or register the virtual machine, right? So if you suppose have imported the virtual machine to this, then you can register it. Otherwise, we will be creating it, so it will automatically register with the hypervisor. So I'm just going to click the create register here. And then there's a create new virtual machine here. Then there's a deploy virtual machine from OVF or OVA. We're going to talk about OVA, OVF, and OVA. It's to import, export virtual machine. That's the purpose. But we're going to have a lab on that. So then we're going to understand that. Register, we're not yet registering it. We're creating it. So creating a new virtual machine, we select there and we click next. We will give it a name. So your first name, VM01. Right? Your first name, VM01. All right, so it's not going to be a backward compatible for all the older versions. It's going to be the latest version we have. So other than that, it's Windows 2019. So it's, first of all, it's Windows, right? And it's 2019. So do we see 2019 here? Yeah, I do. So there is Windows Server 2019 showing here. Suppose you don't see 2019, so 2016 also you can select, because this wizard loads the universal drivers of Windows here. The nearest to what you're doing, the better. We're not enabling any virtual machine security. We're going to be talking about that later. But the information says makes hardware virtualization, IOMMU, EFI, and secure boot available to the guest OS as well. You must also enable virtualization-based security within the guest OS of this virtual machine. So then it will be able to take the benefit of those speed and other security options. But still, let's just select that, because we did turn on IOMMU out there. So why don't we just use it for the operating system as well? Although we're going to check that if we have to enable something else in the operating system for it to actually use it. Okay, anyway, this is selected. These options are selected, and next. So guys, we're going to take a screenshot of the summary of this virtual machine. So we're going to take a screenshot when we reach the summary, which is at the end of this wizard. Okay, so yes, it's that data store here, which is okay. We don't have any option, so it's okay. Next. And here, first of all, it says, oh, you want to use 4 GB RAM. Oh, you want to use 90 GB disk. So that red one, we can fix it right now, because below it says that maximum you can use 65 out of 71 GB. So we can give here 65. If you see some other number, just go lower than that or slightly lower than that. I just put 65 GB here, which is more than enough for the operating system, because operating system takes like what, 12 GB only. So 65 GB is enough, more than enough, and we're going to only install operating system here. Second thing, this is a hard disk that we put 65. Then what is the memory about? So obviously we need to go for 8. Instead of 4, I'm going to put 8 here. So the virtual machine OS installation goes faster. Yes, Chinwendu? You have a raised hand. Uh-huh. Are you saying something? I cannot hear you.
Following you.
Can you come near to the mic and say louder?
Said you are faster, right?
So again, sorry, I didn't understand. Maybe you can write it down or in the chat
I
or
said
say
you're
it loud.
fast, right? You are fast because I don't really know where you click. I'm where you
So-
are, right? But
So right now, where you are?
I'm creating a new virtual machine, right? So I just want to know the options you click.
You're creating a virtual machine?
Yes.
Okay,
The phone has,
then you're on this page.
yes.
Okay, so select the first one, next,
Yes, I'm there.
and you've done that. Did you select? Go ahead and select that and let me know when you're done.
I want to give it a name.
Yeah, it's your first name, VM01, and 7.0, Windows 2019.
Oh, just the way it is, right?
Yep,
Yeah.
you're done. Next.
No, hold on.
Okay, waiting. So it's Windows here, and you just have to search the 2019 here. That's it. Here it is.
I can't see Windows 2019 on my own.
Then go for 2016. It's okay. It's gonna work. And hopefully you selected Windows here.
I did.
Okay. So 2016, if you see, then go ahead and select that.
Server 2019.
You're good. Next, and enable this.
Sure.
And next. So then nothing here in the storage. Just click next. And yeah, now we're on this page, right? So go here in the hard disk and type 65. And here 8096 memory.
8096.
Yep. So your laptop memory is 16 GB total. So and we have already shut down E6i1 and E6i3. So and increase the memory of E6i2. Now the virtual machine creating 8096. If you have put this, then that's where we are right now. And let's go together ahead. So I'm going to go down here, guys, and do you all see here CD DVD? So this is where we're going to connect. It says here CD DVD host device, right? So we're going to select the data store ISO file option because on top of data store, we have put an ISO file. Host device is actually, if you had a DVD, physical server had a DVD or USB, bootable USB, then host device would have picked it up. We don't have such things here. So we're going to go for data store ISO file, right? Once you click that, it's going to take you to the data store where you have already copied the ISO of Windows Server 2016. So let's go ahead and click this. Now it has taken us to that folder where we have uploaded. So I'm going to click software, and yes, I see the Windows operating system file, right? So I'm going to select this file. That's all we need to do. And just click down there, select, because now the operating system will be mapped to the DVD of this Windows, right? I hope you've done that, and I'll click select now. Well, that would be it. 8 GB RAM, 65 GB hard disk, and data store ISO file is selected. That's all we need to do. And we're going to click next and finish, right? Oh, guys, we're going to take a screenshot. So next to this screen, we need to take a screenshot. So we need to take a screenshot here and I'll go for the sample screenshot. Obviously, your screenshot should have your name there. I'm going to take a sample screenshot, and the name is virtual machine summary. So the screenshot 1, and the name is virtual machine summary. I'll just screenshot 1 is virtual machine summary. Okay, so Sahu is Siri. Oh yeah, I think it's Siri. In WhatsApp, there's a name SAHOO. All right, so this is your screenshot, and this is the label of the screenshot, and I'll put that there as well. Screenshot 1 in WhatsApp. Here at is all right. So screenshot 1, I put that on WhatsApp. Let's go back here, and the final thing is we need to click finish, right? So once we click finish, then there is we need to start the windows now, right? So how do we start? We can select the windows here, and we can click power on, right? Or we can click on top of windows, go inside that screen. I'm going to click inside. It's the same thing, and power on from here as well. So go inside, in fact, and then click power on, right? I'm going to click power on, and it says here, failed to power on virtual machine, blah, blah, blah. Monitor loop, power on, failed. Click here for more details. Really? Why? Power on this virtual machine failed, blah, blah, blah. Monitor loop, power on failed, swap file, no space left on device. Current swap file size is 0 KB, failed to extend the virtual machine swap file, could not power on virtual machine, no space left on device, failed to power on. 65 MB. Oh man, no, it was GB. So I'll go back. If everyone gets this, or only I'm the lucky one? So I'll go to the virtual machine here, this one, and I'll check. Okay, got the same. Susan says got the same. So I'm gonna go to the virtual machine level and then add it. Yeah, memory 7 GB, right? Well, that's memory. What space? Did I give 65 MB or GB? Or 65 GB? That's more than enough for us. Uh, okay. Also here, data store pilot should be connected here. So guys, if you see CDVD as the checkbox is unchecked, so check it. But in terms of hard disk, 65 G and B, if I go down here, thick provision, lazily zeroed. Oh yeah, we don't need thick provision actually. And since we created the machine, so it's not gonna let us change now. It was supposed to be thin provisioned, not thick provisioned. What thick provision does, it occupies the whole space and format it. So it didn't find that whole space to format because I just kept it to the edge. 65 was the maximum 65 I gave it. So that's the reason. So it should be thin provision in our case. It's just a training. And if it was supposed to be thick provision, then we would have given maybe 55 here, right? In fact, let's just try that. If I go for 55 instead of 65 of the total of 71 or total of 65 GB space, I'm just giving 55. Why don't you just try that? Give it 55 and save. Let's see. Otherwise, we're gonna have to delete the machine and create a new one. Enter a disk size which is larger than its original capacity. 420 MB. Whoa, maximum size. Okay. Yeah, so it's not gonna take that. Once you create the machine, right, then it expects the full in thick provision. When the machine is created, it expects the full size to be available. Now we cannot change it once it is the thick provision one is given. So what we can do is we can cancel out from here and we can delete this machine. We don't need that. We're going to go through the process again of creating a virtual machine. And we're going to make sure that the type is thin provision, not thick provision. Oh man, it's already 7:26. Okay, I'm going to cancel out, right? And let's go to the virtual machine area, virtual machines. And let's delete this. So I'm just going to select it from outside. And is there a delete option here for this machine? So if I go to actions and I see this, I hope we all see that, those who are following, and go ahead and delete and delete, right? Let's quickly create a new one, but we select thin provision. I'm going to click create again, right? I hope you were able to delete that. Let's click create again, create a new virtual machine, right? Next, we give the name, your first name, Win01, your first name VM01, your first name VM01, A6i7, guest OS is Windows, same thing, right? And if you see 2019, just go further down, maybe you will see that 2019 here. Enable Windows virtualization based security. Next, right? Same thing. All right, that store is good. Next. Oh, Chinwendu, you still have the hand raised. Yeah. Oh, okay. Beautiful. So memory. So first of all, I'm going to go down to the type here. You can see here thick provisioned. This was selected. I'm going to select what? Thin provisioned. I'm going to select thin provisioned. Okay. So if you don't see that, then expand this hard disk here, expand, and then go to disk provisioning, which is thin provisioned. Once that is done, now you can go for, maximum size, it says 65. So we'll go for 60. 60 is also more than enough for this particular machine. 60. I'm going to go for 60. And again, I'm giving it 8096. Right? So 8 GB RAM, 60 GB hard disk space, thin provision is a must for training environments. And obviously we need to map the ISO. So we're gonna go down to the DVD here. Here's the DVD, this one, host device, right? So I'm gonna go for data store ISO file, right? Data store ISO file, and software and Windows, right? Go click software and then select Windows. Okay, once you've done that, select, and we don't need a screenshot here. Next, finish. That's it. So the only thing we did different is thin provision. So next, finish, right? Finish. And let's try to start again. So I'm just gonna click on top of the virtual machine. And let's power on. All right, it's powering on, but here I need to explain to you something. So it's not going to go ahead if we don't select this option. Press any key to boot from CD or DVD. Okay, I'm just going to make the screen bigger now. by clicking on top of that. So there's that big screen, right? Now what happens here is that you have to select CD DVD when it says press any key on the keyboard when that option comes. So I'm going to show you which option I'm talking about. So I'm going to go to the top right actions because I need to restart this power, and there's a reset. I'm just going to restart this machine just to show you that option. We're supposed to press any key on the keyboard when that option comes, right? So reset and yes. When that option comes here, this is the option where I'm supposed to press any key, but I did not do that intentionally. Now, next time when I restart again now, I will do that. So let me explain what to do. In order to press any key on the keyboard and it should send that message to the virtual machine, you have to first select this virtual machine, right? See this hand should be gone if you have selected it successfully, right? So I'm going to select this and the hand is gone. If I press Control Alt, the hand is now, this machine is not selected. So if you press a key, it's not going to take, this virtual machine is not going to take it. If you press the mouse and it's gone, the hand is gone. Now you press any key, this virtual machine will take that key, right? So Control Alt, it is out, it is not selected now. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to restart this machine and I'm going to quickly start clicking on top of it until it is selected. And then I'm going to press quickly. So this is all quick process, right? Then I'm going to quickly press any key on the keyboard. Just randomly select any key on the keyboard, right? So Control Alt. First is I'm going to go right and I'm going to power and reset again, right? So I'm ready to select the screen by mouse and then to press any key on the keyboard. It's all instantaneous, right? So reset, and after pressing yes, it's going to try to restart. I'm going to keep clicking to select this, and then I'm going to press any key on the keyboard. In fact, I'm going to do the mouse click and the keyboard clicks simultaneously, just to not miss this. I'm going to press yes. Oh, where's it? Click, click. Oh, there you go. Yes. So I click the screen. It's selected right away. Right away, I click the keyboard as well. I was just pretty much simultaneously clicking the screen, click, and keyboard. I was pressing some random key as well. So that's why I got the screen. If you got the screen, you're good. And you just have to press enter and the Windows will start getting installed. If you see the screen, go ahead and press enter and continue with the Windows installation. Okay, Chinrandu, yeah. Yes, Chinrandu. Yeah.
Okay, I don't want to take you back to the. Can I share my screen so you can show me where the tick provision is?
Yeah, you can share screen. So I'll just continue with my Windows installation. So guys, you have to select standard desktop experience, or you can select data center desktop experience when you reach there, and then next, finish, right? Okay, so you got 8 GB, correct, 65 GB RAM. Also select the hard disk, go to the left side, click the hard disk as well. No, up. Did you select thin provision? Yeah, select here, go down. Yeah, thin provision, go there. Yeah, select thin. No, now go down. No, no. Now go down further. Yeah, CD DVD. Not here. Yeah, this one. Data store ISO file. Um, Okay, go up there and select the host device instead of data. No, 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 not up in the CD DVD. Select the other option in CD DVD. Go down, down. Yeah, this one. Not this one. Up. Data store ISO file. You see that?
Oh, yeah, that this one, right?
Yeah. Now select host device. Do you see that host device? Select it. Now select again data store ISO file. Now you're there. Click software. Select the, yeah, select. Yeah. And next. And finish. And okay, so now select the VM, John. No, no, no. Why did you go to storage? Okay, John VM. Yeah, click that and power on. You have to be careful here. Like click the screen. Yeah, Click this. Select, okay, go to actions on the right side. Do you know on the screen, on the VM, there's a small action. You can see the US flag, small US flag. Yeah, beside that is action. Click the actions. Yeah. Click, yeah, the actions. Oh. Oh. Yeah, it's tricky.
Sir, I have
Yeah,
a question. Which version do you want us to install?
last one, fourth one, data center desktop.
Okay, thank you.
Welcome. John, go down to the reset. Reset. No. There. Yeah. 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 And when you press yes, okay, click on the screen. Click on the screen quickly and press on the keyboard. Press on the keyboard. You were late. Again, go to the actions. Reset. Welcome to the virtualization world. So don't click very fast. Listen to the instructions I'm saying, right? Reset. Okay, click and press the keyboard. Click on the screen, press on the keyboard. Press. Too late. So when you press yes, then you have to keep clicking on the screen and keep pressing on the keyboard any random key as well, right? So again, let's do that. Actions.
Should upgrade or custom one?
Custom.
Okay.
Actions. Okay, actions again. Power. Reset. When you press yes after that, keep clicking the screen very fast and keep clicking the keyboard very fast. Yeah, now you're good. Enter. No, click the screen again. Click the screen. Enter. Now Windows is installing. Congratulations. So now I'll just go back here. So yeah, that was the tricky part. I was saying that it's tricky. All right. So if you see this, then yeah, we can just here time and currency format. Hey Chinvendu, you're not going to select this as French now, right? Here. Oh, the mouse here, it's also not seriously, this mouse thing is also a problem. So I'm gonna click on top of this very carefully, and then on the keyboard, I'm gonna go next to, and press enter there, right? So I see a small, because the mouse is not really working for me here. And it happens like this. I mean, I increase the RAM, but it's still happening. Yes, Chinvendu, you have the hand raised.
Sir, my system just got started, so I'm stuck. Actually, I powered on the EXXI2, and then you said we have to create a soft data store. I logged in as a from the virtual machine, like Win01, and connected it through the HTTPS server, opening the browser. And then I went to the data store browser and I clicked on this create directory for the storage, and there I clicked software. So after that, what we have to do?
Did you upload ISO?
No, how do I upload? I have to click the upload button on top of the data store browser.
So you created a folder called software,
Yes, yes,
and then you have to click the upload button, click the
yes.
software folder, and then click the upload button. And then if you have copied ISO to the Windows, then the upload button
Yeah.
will take you there. So wherever you copied, go there and double click that ISO and click
Okay.
select.
Okay, sir.
Alright.
Thank you.
Welcome. I think the rest of it, yeah, I think you can follow the video because you're way back, you were behind.
Will you be uploading the video like right after the class?
So video will be available by in 2-3 hours.
Okay, okay. All right.
Then yeah, it's before the next class you can finish it.
Okay, thank you.
Or since now we're waiting for the Windows to install, so yes, you can ask. So we got nothing much to do than Windows installation. So when you're done with that, let me know.
Yeah, sure, sir. Sure.
Okay. And guys, so what are our objectives after the software installation here? In order to increase the RAM of the website, we need to blah blah blah. Okay. So create a VM with OS. So what are our objectives? Once Windows is installed, then give the class password or whichever
Hello, sir.
password you want. Yep.
Sir, I have some issue. Can I share
Yep.
the screen?
Okay. And guys, you need to, when you log into the machine, you need to check what IP you got. That IP we need to take a screenshot of. The host does not support the Intel VTX. Click here for more. Okay, so this is E6i 200.2. Okay, so right click the E6i2 on the top where you see Anoop E6i, yeah, there. Right click and settings. And processor. Oh, so how did that first option in the virtualization on the right side, virtualization engine, this first option is normally supposed to be automatically clicked, but you somehow unclicked it. So that's not good. Yeah, so shut down this particular virtual machine and click this option and then power on this machine again and remotely connect to it and continue.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. So Xavier says enable in the BIOS. So Xavier, it's enabled in the laptop BIOS because he was able to install all the VMware virtual machine, right? But it's within the VMware workstation he has issue. So that Intel VT in the VMware workstation virtual machine was somehow unselected by mistake. I think he by mistake unselected it. Otherwise, it's supposed to be always selected. It is by default selected for VMware virtual machines. Okay, so what I was saying is that once Windows is installed, then give the class password and log in. And it's, it's gonna get really tricky here because if your mouse is not working for some reason, then we have to install VMware tools inside. So log in, install VMware tools, and restart the VM. And log in. Open CMD and check if you got an IP of 192.168.200.50. If you've configured DHCP just like I did with the same exact configuration, so you should be getting an IP of 200.50. If you don't get 200.50, then your networking in your environment is wrong because DHCP is supposed to give an IP to this machine. If I go to the diagram here, so DHCP is living here, right? This one. And the virtual machine is here. So when the virtual machine finally starts, it requests an IP. For the IP, this virtual machine's request for IP will go through its virtual machine's virtual network card to the hypervisor's vSwitch 0 to the physical network card of this hypervisor E6i2, and then through outside VMware Workstation networking, it's going to go inside this physical network card of Windows machine, and then it's going to reach the DHCP and request an IP from here, and then network card and back again to the physical NIC of E6i2, the virtual switch, and then to the virtual machine, and it should get an IP. So that IP, the range we gave to the DHCP is 192.168.200.50. It starts from there up to 100. So it should get the first IP, which is .50. So if your machine got an IP of 192.168.1.50, this means the whole networking is also correct, and it's getting an IP from another machine. This virtual machine is getting an IP from outside from another virtual machine where the DHCP is living, right? So when you log in, make sure you go to CMD and make sure that the IP is 192. So you just type IP config, obviously, and it will give you the IP. Open CMD, type IP config, and press enter. Anup, your hand is raised, so you have a question? Or is it by mistake?
Sir, in the Windows, how that screen is completely blacked out? How to set up?
Okay, share your screen. Oh, you have to go through that option as well. So go to actions on the top right. Yeah. Oh, you're there. Okay. The
Okay.
Windows has started installing, so you're good.
Yeah. Okay.
And
Thank you.
yeah, the rest you should know. If not, let me know. That among the four options, just select the fourth one, which is desktop. Here, just click next, and that's it. Go ahead. Yeah, click next and install now. And oh, my mouse is good. It always happens to my mouse. I don't know why. So those who have installed the virtual machine operating system have to go inside, open command prompt, go for the fourth one, last one. Yeah, and then next, and custom, and you're good. I'll share my screen now.
Okay. Thank you.
Oh. All right, so I'm back here. So it's asking me the username password, small ABC, capital ABC, shift 123, large shift 123, tab, small ABC, capital ABC, shift 123, large shift 123, enter. And now we have to just log in like before, like we log into Windows. So if you get the IP of that machine, you have to take a screenshot which says, correct screenshot to correct IP is the label. So I'm just going to log in from this machine now. Actions. Where's the Control Alt Delete of this? You go to Actions when it is fully installed and you have put the password. You want to log in now. So go to Actions and go to, if we see in the power, you don't see the Control Alt Delete, but here in Guest OS, you see Send keys, right? And Send keys has Control, Alt, and D and Delete. Oh, D and Delete. So just Guest OS, Send keys, Control Alt Delete. I'll send that, and then I have to, oh, my mouse, so small ABC, capital ABC, shape 123, large shape 123. You know, it gets really, if the mouse is not really properly working, we need to install Vmware tools. And then I have to go keyboard on this area where basically we need to work on mouse. So, you know, there's another way to know if the DHCP has given an IP to this virtual machine. What is the other way to know that DHCP has successfully given an IP to this machine? The other way, suppose like my mouse is not working, right? If I click this and I click a little further, it goes way to the other side. If I slowly move here, it goes really far. And this can be fixed if I install Vmware tools. But for some of the students here, it's going to be near to impossible because you have to go to these areas with tab In Windows, it's very painful without a mouse, right? So I'll tell you another way. If you have successfully logged in like this, that's all you need to do. And you need to go to the DHCP. Where's the DHCP? The DHCP is, just minimize everything on this Windows. See this? Minimize, cancel, and go down here. So you just have to, on Windows machine, which Windows machine? Your first name Win01 machine. You have to open Server Manager, this one, and go to Tools and open DHCP, right? So Server Manager is this one. I'm telling you to go to DHCP and check if DHCP has given an IP to any machine. If it has, then where do you see that? Yep. Any question? Okay, no question. So I'll just go to the tools here, and then there's the DHCP, right? So go to the DHCP, and I'll show you where to see that DHCP has given an IP to some machine, because all our other areas where there's an IP given, we have given static IP. So if DHCP has given an IP to any machine, that has to be the machine that we just installed, right? So I'm going to expand that and go to IPv4 in DHCP. You can do this when your machine is fully installed, right? So scope, go to scope and address lease. If you go to DHCP, IPv4, scope, address lease, you see this. This is the screenshot you can take, because this is the IP 250 has been given to the machine named this. Any new machine always gets a weird name. So yes, this is that machine. And there is no other machine which is getting IP from DHCP. This is the only machine that is getting an IP from DHCP. So your screenshot 2 will be this, that you can come here and screenshot 2, which means that DHCP IP given to VM. Screenshot 2 name, the earlier which I told, you can give that to, or you can give DHCP IP given to new VM, DHCP IP given to new VM. Those who are a little behind, I can tell you where it is, but otherwise this is screenshot 2 here.
I can't see that it gave any IPs.
So are you in the DHCP?
Yes.
Are you exactly in address leases?
Yes.
Did you
Oh,
see a line like
there's
this?
the .50. Yes.
Yeah,
Okay.
okay, that's the
Yes, now.
screenshot you can take. This is the IP given to the machine that we just installed.
Okay, right, thank you.
Okay, so that would be our screenshot 2, and the name is that DHCP IP given to new VM.
Sir, can you repeat it? Where is the IP address? I just
Sure.
lost.
So I'm just putting this in WhatsApp as well, then I'll show you where to go. So it's on the WhatsApp if anyone misses that. So I'll now show you in the Windows machine, the first machine, if you minimize Google Chrome and go to Server Manager. So are you able to go to Server Manager on first machine?
Yes.
And then go, okay, and then go to Tools and this DHCP. Once you're there, then you have to expand like this. So the server name, IPv4, scope name, address lease. So that's the address lease, and you can take a screenshot of that.
Got it. Thank you.
So welcome. Okay, Anoop has a hand raised. Oh, that was a nice song. Yeah. Oh, you wanted us to hear that song. Okay, cool. Yep. Volume up. Oh, yeah, I know. You have a question? Oh, okay. Hand it down. Fine. Got it. So, screenshot taken, and it's 7:56, so it's half the time already.
Hello, sir.
But yeah, if you got this screenshot, that was the lab. Okay, who else? Yeah, Chinmandu.
Sorry, Windows installation, there are two options. Which one should we go for?
Okay, you can share a screen. Yeah, custom.
Custom.
So click that, custom, and go ahead. And next. That's it. So once this machine is installed, you will have to go to DHCP and get that IP screenshot.
What do I start?
Yeah, it's going to install the virtual machine now. It's going to take some time. All right, guys. So, well, the promise was halftime, and halftime is there, done. So those two screenshots you can upload. I'll just make that on the Blackboard week 6.
Sir, can you open the previous one also so that I can upload?
It's closed. It's week 4, right? Okay.
Both all the labs, like we have to
They're
submit, right?
closed?
Yeah, it shows closed.
That's strange. Okay, I will be uploading, but let me just first create the other folders. And week 6 is 30 June. Okay. For the I'll go for create assignment. Due date. I'll just make that due date longer. Seven. Okay.
Oh.
Maximum for years assignment grade. Okay, so on the other screen, I'm actually just creating that upload. And so guys, if you refresh are you able to see and also to add content? So when you refresh week 6, are you able to see upload or new assignment? Can anyone confirm? So in Blackboard, in week 6, do you see upload?
Yes, it's there.
All right, thank you. Thank you, Susan. So you can all see that. Go ahead and upload. I'll upload the slide as well. Now I'll stop the recording. Wow.